everybody, it's Deb here with Creative Life. Thank you so much for joining me, and thanks so much for subscribing. So today I am sharing with you this vintage suitcase mini album that I created using both the scrapbooking kit and card making kit from Jolie. I do have a short tutorial, or the first part of the tutorial, for you right after this walkthrough. So if you're interested in creating this, then you will want to stay tuned right after this, okay? So let's go ahead and get started at looking at this. So these little wings up here on the top are actually holding down our handle, okay? And those you will find in your scrapbooking kit. That you will get the steampunk gears, you will get 10 pieces, and then you will get the metal embellishments, which are the wings, and you'll get 8 pieces of those. So those are found in the scrapbooking kit, along with your paper and your black chipboard, okay, your chipboard pieces, and the laser cut pieces that are in there as well. And I will link that release video of all the kits down below for you, okay, so you could see the June kits. So what we did here is we basically made a little mini album. This mini album, I believe, is I think it is about 6 1/4. Yeah, it's about 6 1/4 by 7 and a half. Okay, so that is how large this mini album is, and y'all, plenty of spaces for photos and things. You will absolutely love it. So here is, of course, the front. Okay, and we used our gears, and we used some of our brads that are in our stash to create the locking mechanism for this mini album. This is the back side, and then the bottom part of your mini album. And then we turn it over like this, and then you can go ahead and you can take these around. Okay, and here is where I used another wing right here. Okay, and I went ahead and placed the heart laser cut right on top of there. I think that looks so pretty. I absolutely love this paper with the gears and the little flowers and such. Oh, it's so pretty, and the grunginess of it. It's just so vintagey. I just love it. And then we have this black chipboard piece, okay, that you will find at the shop. And I know that these are part of the scrapbooking kit. I'm pretty sure you can buy those separately as well. Okay, so if you're into that, you can definitely buy those separately. And then here it opens up like this. Now with this mini album, I did create it where you can use it horizontally or you can use it vertically. Okay, so when you open it, if you're going to do it this way, you have a little pocket here with some photo mats, and your pages will just open up like this. Okay, if you're going to do it this way, okay, then your pages will open up towards you, and that's kind of how I designed it for myself. You can do it however you want, but I just love having this little pocket here. You can definitely put in some of your little mats or your journaling cards. We did a little collage right here in the front. And then up here on the top part, let me go ahead and bring this into focus, you have the little pockets that are in your scrapbooking kit, and you can definitely put some little journaling cards and such inside of these little pockets. And there we go. Okay, and just like that. And then here I did another collage with the car and different laser cuts from the package. Just really pretty. Just kind of laid them out. They are kind of covering up the little prongs from our brads. So I just thought it added a nice little touch there. And I loved all of these little laser cut pieces. They're so pretty. So Then we go on to the pages. Now the pages are actually made from the card kit. So the cards that were in the card kit, that's what we used to create our pages, okay? And so here for the first page, I went ahead and did a little closing mechanism using the gears. Now all the brads that you see in here are actually from my stash, so you will use brads from your stash, and the string too, okay? So you open it up and then you have your pictures here, okay? And that is how that's going to open up. And again, you can go ahead and if you're doing it this way, then your flaps would just open up on the top and then on the bottom, okay? So there's that. And then I have a little piece of paper there. And then you're just going to go ahead and close it. Just loop your string, your twine, right around those brads. You're going to bring this down, and then here is where I just did a belly band, and your mats can slide in and out from there. The second page, it is really super cool. I really love this page. So here I went ahead and stuck the metal wing right here, and then a little cog or a gear right here on top of the clock. I just absolutely loved that piece. And then we went ahead and used some of the laser cuts again, and right here this one says My Beautiful Heritage. And I just love that. We did use a magnet, so if you have magnets from your stash, you can definitely use that. This opens up like this, and then you have your waterfall, okay? And the waterfall is pretty lengthy. You know, you have really nice borders, you know, so you could see the images in between. So I just thought that was really pretty. I really like those. I really like that. I love how this turned out. Now, if you're doing it this way, of course, you would decorate all of your pages this way, and this would flap down, and then you would have your waterfall open up. Okay. Definitely lots of room for photos. So for the back of this page, you would just turn it over, and then on the back, these flaps open up like this for your photos. You have this whole area here for photos, and then you've got your two pieces here that flap open, and then you've got this piece and then this piece for photos. And then if you're turning it this way, they would flap up and down. And again, you would have all of this area for your photos. And I'm just showing you both ways. So if you chose to create this book, then you know you can have your pages go either way, okay? This one here, we have a little pocket, again, for your ephemera, pieces, journaling cards, photo mats, whatever you would like. And I just thought that that was super, super cute. I love that. And then, again, here you would have a little pocket right here. This folds up like this, and then here you have another little gear locking mechanism, and these fold up and down. So you have a little photo here, a photo here, and here. And then if you're doing it this way, then these would just open up like this. How super cute. I just love how this turned out. I absolutely love it. And there's your locking mechanism. Here on this one, we did use another magnet to close it, okay? And I placed one of the chipboard pieces here. I left in black because the paper had black gears on it. I thought this piece looked perfect for this page. And I'll bring it up closer for you to see. I just think it looked so pretty, and I went ahead and added one of the wings, and then we added our magnet on here. This flips open just like this, and that one flips down, so you have another area for some photos. Now, because the pages are long, you definitely have room for your 4x6 photos. Okay, so you have 4x6 photo here, here, and here, you know, and you can even put one here if you wanted to. But I just love how this turned out. And then here is the back of page 4. And again, we used the gears for our locking mechanism. Now this one folds to your right. I just thought that was a different take on a waterfall, and I just love how that looks. If you're doing it this way, then your waterfall would fold down, and you have this whole area here for some nice photos. Again, you just wrap that around and it locks it up. Your back piece here, you can put a nice, you know, photo here, a larger photo, or a 4x6, or you could put a couple of small photos here. So there is that. And then of course you have your little pocket back here, and you can actually add, there's 2 of these pockets, and you can add another one here, right behind here, and do more little cards if you wanted to. And there is our mini album. So next we could just go ahead, you could flap it closed, and you would just grab your string and wrap it around your little brads, okay, or your twine, I mean, not your string, but you want to use twine, okay, and there you go. So there is that. And y'all, this turned out so cute. I absolutely love it. And I hope you guys love it too. Thank you guys so much for joining me. The tutorial is right after this, and it covers the first part of how to put the base suitcase together. Again, I have all the links down below to the store and to the scrapbooking kits, okay, and card making kits. So thanks again for joining me today, you guys, and don't forget to stay tuned for the tutorial right after this. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for subscribing and being here with me. So today, you all, I have a fun project we're going to do. It is going to be a suitcase mini album, and I thought it would be perfect for this vintage man collection. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to go ahead and say is I will be actually using the cards from the card kit for our pages. So I already made one, and this is what it's going to look like when we're done. Pretty easy, you guys, because your cards are going to be already scored for you and everything. Basically, all you're going to have to do is fold them. Okay, so here's your cards from the card kit. You're just going to fold these over, okay, and you're going to go ahead and just cut them each on the end once they're folded to, I think, what was it? Let's see here, hold on. Oh, 5 3/4. So basically you're just cutting off a tiny bit of the ends, okay, just to make sure that they're all the same size. So you're going to cut off the ends at the opening of your card, okay, to 5 3/4. Okay, then what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to score them. All right, and I'm going to share with you how to do that. So let's go ahead and make the pages first. Alrighty, so you're going to need your scoreboard. You're going to grab your card, okay, and you're going to turn it lengthwise. Now, the size of your card is actually going to be 11.5 by 8 1/4. Okay, so that is the size of your page, okay, and you're going to fold it over. Again, you're going to cut this down to just the side to 5 3/4, okay. When you're done doing that, you're going to go ahead and turn it to the 8 1/4 with that on the top, okay, and let me find my score too, okay, and you're going to score a 1/2 inch on both sides of your card when it's opened, okay. So you're just going to go ahead and just like that. So for each card, you're going to score a 1/2 inch on both sides, the left side and the right side. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and put those together in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and do another one. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next 2 pages on here for you, so you could just see that I am continuing to score the left side and the right side on the 8 1/4 inch side. Alright, so once you're done scoring your paper, we're going to go ahead and get our 1/2 inch flaps and fold them in, and make sure you burnish them down. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab our scissors, and where that middle score line is, we're going to go ahead and bevel in the edges, just like so, on both sides, okay? Then you're going to go ahead and on the bottom part of your card, when it's open, you're going to cut the right and left 1/2 inch flap off, okay? Because we don't need 2 flaps on our page. So you're going to go ahead and cut those off, and now you just have the bottom and top flap, 1/2 inch flap showing. Next, you're going to go ahead and add your double inch tape, or your double sided tape. And you're going to go ahead and then make sure you burnish that tape in. Take that top part off and bring in the sides, and go ahead and fold your flap over. And there is your page, and we are done with that. So you're going to do that for all 4 of your pages. Okay, so to get started on our hinge, you're going to go ahead and grab an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, and we are going to start at 1 1/2, 2 1/8, 2 5/8, 3 1/8, and then at the 3rd score line in, we're going to mark a number 1. That's going to be our first hinge. Now we're going to go ahead and continue scoring. So we did 3 1/8, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, 4 3/4, 5 3/8, 5 7/8, 6 3/8, at 7, 7 1/2, and then at 8 and 8 5/8 is going to be your last score line, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to count every 3rd score line. So from the 1 over, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, or yeah, and then you'll make number 2 at the 4 1/4. Your 3rd hinge will be at 5 7/8, and your 4th hinge will be at 7 1/2. Okay, so now we are done with this part. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this paper down to 7 1/8 by 11. Okay, so at each number, we're going to go ahead and fold those in, and it's kind of like forming a mountain. So you're folding them upward, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and burnish each one of those in, folding it back and forth. And that just helps break up the fibers in the paper, so your hinge is able to go back and forth once you get your pages on. So we're going to do that for each number. Then you're going to turn this over, and you're going to go ahead and fold in those end flaps to the back, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start adding the adhesive to the valleys on the back of your flaps, okay? Once you do this, then you're going to go ahead and attach those and burnish those in. And you're going to do this for each valley with the number on it, the back. So for the number 3, you can go ahead and press that in. Then you'll see that that's where you're supposed to add your adhesive, and then you will fold those inward and burnishing those down. And you'll do that for all 4 of your valleys. So here you see me grabbing the number 2, and then I'm pinching it. So I know where my little valley is, and I'm placing my adhesive inside, and then I'm going to go ahead and burnish that down. And I'm just using my bone folder to burnish everything in. And if I have any messes, I just use my little napkin there. So again, I pinched at number 1, turned it over, and did the same thing. Now, what I like to do with my hinges once I'm done adhering them all together, I go ahead and swish them to the left and burnish them down, and then go to the right and burnish them down again. And I do that a couple of times just to go ahead and get them used to that. So when you adhere your pages, they're not stiff. Now you're going to go ahead and turn over your hinge, and on the back side you're going to add your double back tape. And I am just adding my tape to the portion that is the back side where the hinges are. And you're going to go ahead and fold in those two large flaps that are on the left side and the right side. Okay, those are going to fold it in, see, like here. And so here you're just going to go ahead and peel off the backing. You can add glue. I usually add glue here. I just think it's a good idea. And then you're going to go ahead and fold in those flaps just like so. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our tape to the hinges. And what you're going to do is grab your 3/4 inch tape or your 1/4 inch tape, and you're just going to slide that across the top of the hinges. You don't want to get that tape onto the score line area. You just want it kind of covering the top of your hinge area. All right, so now to create our mini album, you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6 by 7.5 and 3 pieces of chipboard that are 3.5 by 7.5. One of these is going to be our spine that holds the hinge piece, and it's going to go on just like that. And okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, for the cover of our mini album, you're going to need one piece that is 5.5 by 11, one that is 4.5 by 11, and two that are 8.5 by 11. Now, the 4.5 by 11 is going to have the adhesive on the right-hand side at the edge, okay? And you're going to attach that to one of your 8.5 by 11 large pieces, okay? Just like I'm doing here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and grab your another 8.5 by 11, place 2 strips of double back tape to the edge on the right and left hand side, and you're going to attach one of those edges to your other 8.5 by 11 that you just attached to the 4.5 by 11 piece. Next, you're going to go ahead and you're going to attach the 5.5 by 11 on the other end of that 5.5 by or 8.5 by 11 piece, and that is going to be how you put together your cover for all of your chipboard pieces. Next, we're going to come in and lay down our chipboard pieces, and you're going to leave about 1 inch space from the edge there, and you're going to lay down the 6 by 7.5 inch piece first. Then you're going to leave about 1/4 inch from between each chipboard piece. I am using my ruler to keep my chipboard pieces straight, and I do kind of mark at the edges of where my chipboard pieces are going to lay. So when I apply them with adhesive and lay them down, I know where to lay them down at. Next, you're going to go ahead and lay down a 3.5 by 7 inch piece. That's going to be our spine where our hinge lays. Next, you're going to go ahead and you're going to lay down the next 6 by 7.5 inch piece. Then you're going to lay down both other pieces that are the 3.5 by 7 inch piece. Again, I use my long ruler to make sure that they are straight, and we're going to go ahead and adhere down the chipboard pieces with tape and glue. Okay, so now I have my tape already applied on the back of each of my chipboard pieces, and a good rule of thumb that I do is I always grab my ruler, lay it down on the bottom, make sure all my chipboard pieces are straight, and then I take my pencil and mark the ends, the beginning at the left hand side and then the end of that chipboard piece that lays on the right hand side. And again, I am making sure that all of my pieces are about 1/4 inch spread from each other. Okay, so there's 1/4 inch space between each of my chipboard pieces. And I go ahead and I apply glue. I go ahead and tape the back, and I also apply glue. I just feel like that adds a little bit more security to your mini album chipboard pieces, and they don't come off. Okay, they don't
come loose later. Also, it helps with your spine as well and your hinge piece. Okay, so that's, again, it's just because I live in a very humid area, and if you live in a humid area, you have problems with adhesive sticking sometimes. so so it's just a tip there for you. And we're going to go ahead and finish laying down all of our chipboard pieces and making sure that they're on straight. So I usually leave my ruler at the bottom there to make sure that they are on there straight and they're secure, so they're not crooked. Okay, so that is just a tip that I do for myself. If you have a different way of doing your laying down your chipboard pieces, then do what works for you or what you've been doing. I apologize, my camera going in and out. I think it has something to do with everything, the chipboard piece and the maybe the cardstock. It doesn't like the cardstock. I don't know why it's doing that, but here we are, and I apologize. But if you want to, you can definitely speed past this part, but we are almost through laying down our chipboard pieces on our cover. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and turn this over and we're going to burnish down everything on here. And once you're doing that, go over the edges of your chipboard as you're burnishing in to prepare the paper for folding over the chipboard piece on front. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and prepare our paper for folding over our chipboard pieces. And to do that, we're going to use our bone folder or whatever you have, and you're just going to go ahead and rub that up against the chipboard pieces as you're folding the paper over the chipboard. So I'm getting behind the paper and folding that over. Okay, and you just want to do it gently. You don't want to like totally go, really hand heavy on that or heavy handed on that. And I just go ahead and use my bone folder because it's not as I feel it's a little bit smoother. So now, because we have these little score lines that we developed from folding over the paper, you want to go ahead and grab your scissors and kind of trim, like bevel the edge there, how I'm going slanted towards that little corner piece. Okay, and you're going to do that for all four corners. All right, so for this piece, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring in the flaps that we've now created for our cover. Okay, so you're going to bring those flaps that are on the left and right hand side, you're going to fold them over with your bone folder and just fold those over when you place your adhesive on top. Okay, now I don't use tape. You can use adhesive tape if you want to. I just use my glue and it seems to work just fine. And you're just going to go ahead and do that for the top, bottom, and side flaps. You're just going to bring those in and make sure that you burnish them very well, okay? And as you're bringing them in, you also want to go ahead and see how I'm going around along the sides on the outside of the chipboard piece as I'm folding in the paper. You're going to go ahead and do that to make sure that your edges are uniform and they are straight. So again, on the other big flap there, the large flap, you're going to go ahead and place your adhesive in there. Go around with your bone folder on the edge as you're folding that flap inward, and you're going to go ahead and just burnish that down. All right, and then you can clean up any messes you see afterwards or during. Next, we're going to go ahead and you're just going to go around and you're going to burnish those in really, really good. And next, you're going to go ahead and grab your bone folder and go in between each of the little crevices there. Okay, as you're doing that, you're going to bring in or fold up your mini album pieces, okay, and into the folds Okay, and then there you go. We are done creating our mini album base. So we are totally done with that part. Next, you're just going to go ahead and make sure that your little hinge fits in between there. And we are done. We're going to come back in and we're going to do our papering and all of that good stuff and add in our hinges. So this is the end of this portion of the tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, and I will have part 2 up in a bit. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care. I have all of the links down below to the scrapbook kits that I used and for the shop at Trace Jolie. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for joining me today, y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and hit that bell for future notifications on all upcoming videos, tutorials, YouTube hops, and my Friday night lives at 4:30 Central Time.